always liked the smell of wood, chainsaws. And then I was lucky to have the opportunity to go to work with a firewood merchant that was cutting down big, ugly old macacarpa and old man pine trees, which was always a bit of a challenge compared to forestry work. So I always liked the challenge there with that, and we were doing that. So we're doing a bit of logging and a bit of firewood. We're sort of doing a bit of everything, but it was just big, ugly trees. So we're talking like trees, you know, could be 1.5 meters, you know, 2 meters through the butt sort of thing, like some big, big trees. So we had to get that tree onto the ground, and then we had to put into firewood. And there were some big days put into it, especially in the summer. You always had to wash the dust down after work every day, so it sort of made you look forward to the end of the day. So we done that for quite a long time. And then the fellow I was working for, he wanted to get out of it, so I basically took over and bought him out, and then I carried on by myself for another 2 or 3 years doing it that way. So, and at one stage we had 5 workers working for us, just cutting trees down and doing firewood. And the thing about it, with these big ugly old trees, we'd only ever use a 12-ton digger. That's all we ever used. So you don't need big gear to do big jobs. So we done that, and then it got to the stage of people was getting a bit hard, you know, but getting a bit hard on them. You know, they sort of thought, well, there's easier ways of making money. So that's when we thought, well, we've got to find an easier way doing firewood, because we were getting busier and busier with our firewood market. So we sort of thought, well, how do we do more firewood with less men? So the only way to do it was by having a processor. And Poky at the time just had good machines out there to actually purchase and to go for it. So when we first got our first Poky, we didn't really put too much plantation wood through it. We were still putting like branch wood out of big ugly trees, and they were bent and buckled, but we persevered. It was still quicker doing it that way. And then we started getting a bit of plantation logs in, firewood logs, and that made a big difference. Like, we doubled our production pretty quick there, because we had the right trees, well, the right logs for the right machine. So that's where Poky come in, and that's what they were making at the time. So that was, you know, 10 odd years ago, and we're still stuck with them, and that's why today we're still running Pokys. When we first started off, just a bit of a history on our Pokys. We started off with the 47 BIG X, and it was just a pretty basic machine when you look back at it now. Then we went up to a 50 Easy, which was a big step up, and then the safety features got better as time went by, and the production was going up as well. So the 50 Easy was a big jump from the 47. And then after we went to the 50, and then we went to the 43 Pro, so which was a big jump. And then we got a 50 Pro as well. So the 50 Pro is a good machine. Takes that bigger wood, which is great for that wood up to 50 centimeters, and it handles it not a problem at all. So that's just a bit of a rundown with our Pokys. So with the 47 BIG X that we had, you know, we'd done 5 years with it. And then when we were up in Wanaka there in 2020, the fellow that I sold it to, it was just a couple paddocks across from where we were working. So we went over and had a look at it, and it's still in the same shape as what it was when I sold it. And he's done a hell of a lot of wood with it. And so he's happy with what he's done with it. And I was surprised that it was still actually going, not, you know, well, going as good as what it was. And it wasn't, you know, falling apart and re-welded and everything else. So the good thing about, if you do update your machinery quite often with Poky and with Giant Forest Quip, you actually get the healthy value, and you get a good trade-in price, which is very inviting to keep your machinery updated. And that's one good thing with Poky, and I've decided we stick with John at Forest Quip and Poky, because the retail value is right up there. So the thing about like your Pokys these days, they're idiot proof, real good safety features. If you're not sure what you're doing, you open the lid, everything stops. They've got good safety devices, stop switches in the right spot. Everything just seems to be covered up nicely, especially with our standards of for work safe these days. We can't afford to have accidents anymore because we're sort of in one of the sort of worst industries of accidents with the forestry and firewood and that. It's just the nature of the game. So with the Hakki Pilke safety issues, safety standards, it's the top of the line safety devices on them, which is very good because when you got a new operator on them, you don't have to explain too much because it's self-explanatory. They can just jump on it and you know that you don't have to watch them 12 hours a day. They know as soon as that lid comes up, they can't touch the knife, nothing works, so they've done a great job there. To sum it up about these Hakki Pilkes, at the end of the day, they are actually one of the best machines out there as far as I'm concerned. They can save you a lot of money. My worker, he's more than happy to work on it every day, 5 days a week, 48 weeks of the year sort of thing. So the thing about it, they enjoy working them, which is a great thing because they're not scared of it. They don't get bored on it. And it just increases their production more and more every year. So that's the good thing about Hakki Pilke. They're looking at ways of actually increasing people's production and increasing the safety issues as well. So good on you, Hakki Pilke, you've done very well. John at Forest Equip, he understands that you've got to be working to make money. So he helps a lot there with different ideas and bits and pieces, which is good. And the product is the top of line product. So to purchase something is simple. When something breaks down, he's got a very good backup service. Normally it's just a phone call and he normally answers straight away. And a lot of the time he can talk me through something to fix on the phone. But now we're up to about number 4 of our Hakki Pilkes we've had in the past. So I've got a good idea of when something's wrong, how to fix it. Unless it's something serious, like something goes wrong, John will either jump in his ute and come straight down and fix it for us. In the past, we done a hydraulic pump on a big job we're doing, and there's one phone call, he was down, and 6 hours later, we had another pump in it, and we're up and operating again. So the backup service is 100%. With the Hakki Pilkes, they are quite easily fixed as well. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know how they work. If you take your time into it and look into it, they've got a real good manual on fixing things and parts and how they operate. And in the past, we've never had no big major issues between John and myself and electrical Sparky. We can get everything fixed pretty good and pretty quick. So Hakki Pilke, yeah, they've done very well there on how to fix things with the diagrams as well, what they send out to you. So that makes life a lot easier too. When something does go wrong, which is not very often, you know it's not going to be a major to get it fixed. Yeah, so the future of firewood, it's always going to be there. Even people with these new houses, they're still putting a fire in, but they might not burn a lot of firewood. They might only burn 4 to 6 metres a year compared to some older homes that will burn up to 10 to 20 metres a year. So especially in New Zealand, people are a bit old school. They still love their fire and everything else, which is good because our future for firewood is looking really strong. And the cost of the firewood itself is actually still a cheap product. So for what you get a real good heat, reliable heat, and you don't have to, you've always got it. If your wood shede's full, you're always going to have it. So you don't have to rely on electricity or some other form of heating. And so the cost of it is actually really next to nothing compared to what you'd pay for electricity to heat a home.